what's up, everybody? Before I go into my recap of the spring scrimmage from yesterday, I just want to give my sincerest condolences to the Schnellenberger family. Yesterday, we lost a legend. Coach Howard passed away at the age of 87. Again, my condolences to his family. Without Coach Howard, I mean, besides being a legendary college football head coach for many, many years, he was the architect that built the Miami football program that we know today. That legacy, there would be no Miami football as we know it right now. It would not exist. I mean, literally, that U logo behind me would not be a thing. The 5 national championships would never have happened. He was the guy that started it all. So he will be greatly missed. Rest in peace, Coach Howard. Now, on to happier news. We did have a little spring scrimmage yesterday for the first time in 2 years. So lots to get into there, so let's jump right in. First of all, Manny Diaz was interviewed right after the scrimmage happened, and he had some notes, he had some stats. The quarterbacks, that was probably the biggest positive, the biggest takeaway from the scrimmage. Tyler Van Dyke, 10 for 15, 114 yards and a touchdown. Not bad, sounds pretty efficient. But Jake Garcia really stood out. 15 of 19 for 188 yards and a touchdown pass. Seeing that stat really blew me away because remember, Jake Garcia just got to campus in the last couple of months. And it seems like he already has a very firm grasp of Rhett Lashley's offense, which is great to see. I said it when he got here. This kid's going to be special. I think Tyler Van Dyke, from what we've seen the last week and a half, he's still probably a little bit ahead in the quarterback battle, but this definitely closes that gap. So great job by Jake Garcia. The receivers had a great day too. By the way, there were 2 interceptions thrown. Coach Diaz didn't mention who threw them, but I'll get to that in a second with the defense. The receivers, got to mention probably the player of the game besides Jake Garcia, Xavier Restrepo. 9 catches for 144 yards and 2 touchdown catches. I mean, we've been wanting someone for the last couple of years, really. We've been wanting somebody in that wide receiver room to really step up, especially this year. Besides Mike Harley, we know we already got him. We want that number 2 to really step up. It could be X. We'll see. Only time will tell. Mike Harley did play as well, limited in his snaps. I mean, he's a senior. We already know what he can bring to the table. We want to keep him healthy. He's probably a little bit nicked up, but 2 catches for 75 yards and a touchdown as well. Nice day by him. Coach Diaz mentioned that he's pretty much picking up right where he left off, so that's great to hear. I know what you're thinking though. His touchdown plus Xavier's 2, that's 3 touchdowns. That probably tells me that Peyton Matoka probably had a touchdown throw as well, but Coach Diaz only mentioned like the key stats. Running backs, that was probably one of the negative parts. He did mention that the defensive line had a pretty solid day. Didn't mention anybody by name, but that is good to hear because we need certain D tackles like John Ford, Jordan Miller to take a step forward, especially with Nesta Silvera sitting out. They have a great opportunity now. The running backs, he only mentioned Don Chaney, 52 yards total. He did have 1 long touchdown run, Coach Diaz mentioned. So I'm excited for that competition battle between him and Cam Harris and Rooster, and the 2 young guys coming in. So that'll be interesting to see. Now on defense, when asked about the corners, there was a moment of hesitation. So that tells me that probably the corners didn't have the best day. And of course, the quarterbacks and the receivers did. So somebody has to suffer as a result. I mean, we're playing in these scrimmages, we're playing ourselves. Not every unit can look great. It's impossible. So the corners probably struggled today, it seems like. But he did happen to mention that Tyreke Stevenson did stand out in that group. He had a solid day yesterday as well. So that's good to hear. The 2 guys that got interceptions that I mentioned before were Chase Smith, very nice, good job, and Avante Williams. Really happy to hear that. I've been hearing great things about him since day 1 in spring, that he's flying around making plays all over the place. His versatility and his playmaking ability will be a huge factor for this defense moving ahead. I think beginning right away this season. I don't think he's going to start in 2021, at least not at the beginning of the year, but this kid's special, and he's going to play a lot. Also on defense, we did hear from Coach Diaz that Avery Huff had a nice day. He didn't mention any stats specifically, but that he's improving every single day. And that's promising because really that outside linebacker spot is the biggest question mark maybe on the entire team. Corey Flagg, he mentioned, had a nice day as well. He's been separating himself from the rest of the linebackers since the beginning of spring. So I'm really hoping these two guys emerge as our starters because I think we're pretty set at striker. If Avery Huff can become that reliable guy on the outside with his athleticism, his 6'3", 220-pound frame, that's something to be very excited about. Because honestly, I think in the secondary, we're going to be pretty solid with T-Rob coaching them. D-line with Jess Simpson coaching him, I think we're going to be solid. So that would be the thing that ties everything together if we get those two linebackers that can really separate themselves. And I think that's pretty much it. There were a couple other things that Coach Diaz mentioned. Andres Borregales did make a 42-yard field goal towards the end of the day. Let's see what else. And I think that's pretty much it. There's going to be some, there's going to be more scrimmages, obviously, and of course we're going to have the spring game coming up soon on ACC Network. So really excited for that. I'm going to be here giving more updates throughout the week as spring really progresses. There's going to be probably more stories coming out as we get closer to that spring game. But anyway, that's it for me, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. As always, it's all about that U. Go Canes. Have a great day.